everyone. Happy Wednesday. I think today is going to be a bit of a bridge day, and I have two different things that I wanted to do with you. One was to build off of the last couple weeks. We've been looking at trees, and last week was comparing our life to a path. And as I was creating mine, I was thinking of, sometimes paths have signs, whether there's the stack of rocks to let you know where you're going, or there's an actual written sign that says, you're at mile marker 233. Or this way to that scenic outlook, or make sure you take exit 12 to get to the town that you want to, or danger, don't cross. So I was looking up road signs, and I can remember on some of my travels, there are different road signs everywhere you go, but you kind of get the gist of them. They're a little bit international. They're so simple that they really get down to the essence of what they're trying to communicate. And I thought it might be a good challenge to take what we've been looking at and go a little bit further of what signs might you have around you, signs about your life, about your direction that could give you a warning or give you a hint or say, oh, hey, wait, be aware, there's really cool animals up ahead, or slow down, it's really going to get curvy. What originally inspired me for today's activity of looking at signs was a sign that I pass every single day as I'm driving, and it's Hill Blocks View. I'm like, dude, I should do something with that. I see this sign every day. I know the sign is here, and for whatever reason, that day a couple weeks ago, the sign stuck out to me, and I'm like, the hill blocks the view. How often in our life do we get frustrated? We think that what is blocking our view from the future or from what's up ahead of us is a wall, is a steep cliff, is something that we can't pass. But if we go slow, if we take one step at a time, if we just keep our eyes open, we might not see where we're going, but when we get to the top of the hill that's been blocking our view, we can get an amazing view of something. So on that bent, what road signs are in your life? And then the second activity we're going to do, we'll build off this a little bit further, of a letter writing exercise, and that will prepare us for our guest next week, Alexa. She's going to lead us in a writing exercise next week, Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time. So that'll be exciting. But first, let's examine some road signs that might be out there. Maybe so many different signs that could be on a path or on a road. What do you think that one is saying? That you could come up with a few interpretations. So many different road signs up there. What road signs need to be in your life, or what are in your life? Are they making things more confusing? Are they giving you warnings? Are they clearing some things up? I found these quotes. Travel in good company. And the point of hard conversations is to show up, to hear someone else's experience and beliefs, and to try to empathize and understand where they're coming from. So this will connect into the letter writing exercise that I wanted to tell you about. And actually, the nice thing if you're using pen is you can just literally write what you want to have. You don't have to be able to do block lettering or anything like that. And then you can take water-soluble, like Inktense, or the water-soluble pastels, the neocolors. You could take watercolor paints. You could take a colored pencil and lightly or boldly color right over it, and your lettering and your outline will still show up. You could do it in pencil first as a sketch and see if you like where things go, or you can just take it a little bit more imperfectly. Don't let any of this intimidate you. It's just an idea. You can take it to create whatever sign that you think maybe you need in your life right now. Maybe you want to make a whole bunch of them. Maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to make one. Maybe it becomes more of the heading of your page. Maybe they're reminders of what you want to do more in your life. some extra writing in there. Sorry, got lost in my own mind there. Because on these slow down signs, they often have like a speed limit. There's a dark message at the bottom, at least on the sign that I am seeing. One thing with the signs, there's colors, there's boldness, they're easy to read. There's really, the message is simplified. It's really pared down to the essence of what needs to get communicated. So they catch your attention, right? The whole point of a road sign, of any kind of sign, a mile marker, a warning, a trail marker, out of bounds, all of them are designed to catch your attention so you get the message. So they're bright colors. So you could take this really literally, what are actual road signs that you might see out there. And some of them are more visual, of like an actual image. Have any of you ever seen this sign when you've been out driving or traveling or biking, walking? Not a perfect replica of it, but the idea is there. It's a rock falling sign. So I'm going to add water to these later. What I'm using is the Inktense. They work like pencil, so it feels easy to get it on the paper. It doesn't feel intimidating like sometimes wet paint can. Then you get them wet and you can smear it around. It gives more of like a little watercolor appearance to it. And then once it's dry, it's fixed. It stays right where you put it, unlike watercolors that can sometimes move around again if you add more water or something to the page. I might run into some problems here with the multiple colors I'm putting down all at once. You might want to do one color, let it dry, add another color so that they don't bleed together. So lots of different things to do. Again, you can have names, all sorts of things. Let's see. I'm trying to look for a different shape sign. You can make up your own shape. It does not all have to look like real signs. Maybe you want to cross over to the next page. Maybe you don't want them all straight. Your signs. You depict them however you want to. As long as you understand what you're trying to convey through it, you are golden. Nobody else has to understand it. You can even get it very wrong in your proportions, and this can still mean something to you. So I think I'm just going to go there for now and move this into the next phase of this project. And you can mix the colors too with Inktense, or if you use watercolor or colored pencils, you can mix the colors on each sign. So don't feel like you are only limited to the colors that are in your box or palette. Thinking of signs, what might they be telling me? I was even thinking, I know these are actual signs that you can find out there, but maybe there's also a sign that says something like forgiveness needed or healing needed, and create your own imagery to reflect that. Remember, road signs are very, very simple, very straightforward, with whether they're images, words, colors. They're bold, they get their meaning across very quickly because you're catching them on the fly. So the other thing that I wanted to get in here today, again, it builds off of this, and it gets us ready for next week's writing activity as well. Letter writing exercise that I have done with a lot of clients, and we find really tremendous insight that comes from it. It is based off of Gestalt Theory. I'll have all the information, links, and all sorts of good stuff about Fritz Perls and his Gestalt Theory for therapy. Lots of different exercises there. My favorite one is the empty chair exercise. And that is exactly what it sounds like. I think it's exactly what it sounds like. Is you have two chairs next together, you sit in one, and there's an empty chair next to you. And you think of someone that you're struggling with a conflict, or maybe there's someone that has died or is no longer in your life for one reason or 50 other reasons. And you can't talk to them because it would be so painful, or it's impossible to talk to them. You know, if they're dead, you cannot talk to them, or you can't talk to them because of just different obstacles that might pop up. Maybe they're sick, maybe they're in jail. Maybe it would literally do you physical harm to get close enough to talk to them. So clearly we're not going to ever suggest that you talk to somebody that would cause you harm, but you can't talk to this person. Or maybe there's just, right now, there is too much tension to even make a conversation with them feel like it could be productive or beneficial in any way. So that's one way of using, keep that one in mind. It's one reason why you would use this empty chair or this letter writing exercise. The other one would be to address different aspects of yourself. Things that you easily keep off to the side, you kind of ignore that it's there, whether it's because it's just something you don't like about yourself, it's something you fear about yourself, it's an emotion you're uncomfortable with, it's a memory you're uncomfortable with, it's a piece of yourself that you just easily ignore or brush off or deny or minimize, those kinds of ideas when you're thinking of yourself. So in the original version, you have the two chairs. You're sitting in one and you're talking to this empty chair. But in this empty chair, you are imagining that person or that piece of yourself. And you're going to have a hard conversation with them. And I think that's why I'm liking this quote today. So if we have two chairs, draw this very simple. Two chairs, maybe they're a little bit relaxed, facing each other, or maybe they're next to each other. I feel like I should make them a little bit sturdy, right? Should put some arms on this chair. Cushion, I don't know, make up your own chairs. You don't have to draw a chair for this exercise to work. But anyway, you have yourself is sitting in one chair, and that person or that aspect of yourself that you're uncomfortable with is in the other chair. And you think about what you want to tell this person in the other chair. Maybe it's something that you want to confront something that they've done to you, something that hurts, something you don't understand, but maybe you would like to. And you sit there and you have your conversation. Make your comments. Spill the beans, and you don't have to worry about what their response is going to be because it's an empty chair. All right? So it takes a lot of fear right out of the equation. It's a safe place because they're not actually there. And once you have said all that you feel that you need to say, then you get up and you go sit in that chair. And you take on the persona of whatever you had pictured there. And you respond back to yourself. Now clearly we're not summoning any spiritual thing. We're not actually tapping into that person. What we're doing is we're taking the subconscious and the things that we know about them, the things that we've experienced about them, and we're forming a response back to ourselves. And you can flip-flop chairs as often as you want. And here's where I think the writing magic comes in. I don't actually do this empty chair exercise with my clients. What I do is a letter writing exercise. So if they were doing it with someone that they were struggling with, they'd pick a color to represent that person. And then they'd pick a color to represent themselves. And they would write a letter to that person. Vent it all. Do what you need to do. Maybe it takes a couple pages to do this, but you write it all out and then you sign it. You could add pictures in here, do whatever you want. And then you pretend to be the other person. Same idea as the chair. And you write yourself a letter back. And you can keep this going back and forth as many times as you need to until things feel resolved. And you're going to gain a ton of insight. The other way you can do it, instead of writing to another person, is you can write to a piece of yourself, an emotion that you have, a memory that you have. You can write to a younger or an older version of yourself. And that I think is probably my favorite one, is to be writing older self to younger self. So if you were abused or something as a kid, say you were 5 when you got abused, you would think about yourself, ask yourself questions about yourself as 5. What was happening around you? What things did you like? You pick the color that was your favorite color that time, and you hold it in your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, you're going to hold it in your left hand. You're going to hold it in the hand that you don't normally write with, because that's going to help you tap into that younger self when it was harder to write, and you're going to write differently. You're going to draw pictures differently, and you're going to think about those things that you wish you could have told somebody when you were 5. And then as your adult self, you'll pick a color to represent that, and in your normal writing hand, this color, you're going to write a letter back from your adult self to your younger self, and include in it responses to what they wrote to you, things that you wish some adult would have said to you when you were 5 and getting abused. One example, and you can send that back and forth. You can send it from your current self to your future self. I did a letter writing exercise with someone, and it was write to your 8-year-old self and write to your 80-year-old self, and have them write a letter back to you. It was very interesting. Tons of insights that gained from this. So I encourage you, write some letters this week. Think of road signs. Maybe they're going to give you hints of what letters need to be written in your life. Or try the empty chair exercise. If you like to talk, pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea and have tea with this person. Have a sit-down conversation and see what you gain. Hard conversations need to be had. Sometimes they're with people in our lives currently. Sometimes they're with people from our lives in the past, when we were younger. Sometimes they're with pieces of ourselves that we ignore or don't give enough attention to. But I think you'll be amazed at what comes out of that. So, a little road sign to take us out of the path from last week, a little writing exercise to get us ready for our awesome guest next week. Really excited to introduce you to her, and excited to see what writing exercise that she's got for us. She has a great, very successful publishing company, or a couple. I feel like there's several different realms that she's in. So really lucky to have Alexa as our guest. I'll put her link in this week's newsletter about her and a little bit more about these exercises today. Thanks for watching, whether you're watching live or on the replay or the YouTube video. Let me know what you thought of these activities today, if you were able to put any of them into use in your life, and if they were helpful or not. And then also let me know if there's things that you want to see covered, whether they're emotions or materials, or whether you've heard about a certain art therapy exercise that you'd like to see put into practice here live. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow or subscribe so that you get notified when the future art therapy sessions go live, or when I post a new video, and then comment, share if you think these things would be helpful for someone else. I long to encourage you and help you process some things. Have a good day.